tiebreaker best of one. So this is effectively a best of three series between the sides. And I mean, looking at the lineups, Andy, so what are we expecting and why the position one Pugna this game?
So I feel London Conspiracy consider themselves outpicked in the mid game.
Okay.
So they already have the Chen, then they have the Nyx and the Dazzles. So I'm assuming mid is going to win for Vega, right? Because it's Queen versus SF. The Chen is either going to have to help the middle lane or just go for a farming role. Either way, I think that Vega's lanes might be a tiny bit stronger on two fronts. I think their safe lane will do well, and I also think that their middle lane will do well. With that being considered, LC have the option of going for early 5-man with a Chen and a Pugna to be able to get map control away from Vega before their lineup becomes too strong during the mid game. That's how I feel that LC want to play this. But again, anything can happen in Dota. We are now in-game. But I do favor Vega's draft. If it ends up going past like the 20-minute mark, I think that they're going to be in pretty decent shape.
Indeed, and we're seeing the side of Vega head straight down here into the Radiant jungle. Question is, are they going to be able to catch anybody out? We've got the wards coming, ready to go down from Darkseers. They're going to look to just take a bit of vision, keep tabs on what the Chen's doing. Spartan here, of course, on that Chen. And there's the ward being dropped. They're not going to be able to scout anyone else. Well, the Spartan sees down. The pings come out. Looks like both sides will be able to avoid an engagement here. But yeah, in terms of lanes, you're favouring the strength of Vega at this point, looking at the draft.
I do believe their laning phase should be slightly stronger. I mean, it's not one of those things where it's going to be decided in the lanes, unless some really crazy stuff happens, like solo kills and 1v1s. For example, if Kaiser ends up dying 1 versus 1 against the Queen of Pain, that could be something that completely offsets the pace of the game. Because Shadow Fiend's one of those heroes that, playing from behind, he may be able to farm quickly, but he's also going to have a very high chance of going down here. Looks like Skylark's going to be able to secure himself the top bounty rune.
Oh, there's going to be a Fisher coming down here onto Kaiser.
Oh, that blocked him, actually, I think. It blocked Pasha, but not the Shadow Fiend.
Let's see.
At least going up to the ramp. It was just a weird animation.
But he's good, he's good. And, I mean, so this Ursa, dealing with an offlane Nyx, are you going to be able to farm okay, or should Skylark be able to do quite a bit to disrupt his farm?
I do feel that this lane should be contested, at least coming out from the Nyx. It's going to be tough for Skylark for a little while, but as soon as he gets the creep wave towards his tower, it's very difficult to kill the Nyx unless you get a good fissure block. Because they only have one stun that's guaranteed to just be like an opener for the Leshrac split earth. So if he's not on his game, I think Skylark should be fine.
Okay.
And I also feel that Mag, he should still be zoned out pretty heavily here. He managed to hit 2, so he has Surge, which means he's pretty much not going to die. But it's up to LC to see if they can lane control, and it looks like right now he's going to be getting some free EXP.
I guess this should be a pretty nice lane for Madara in terms of farming, and in terms of dealing with the Iron Shell creeps as well. He should still be able to farm up and maybe even hinder the amount that Mag gets from this lane. Just trading hits here, S224 here in Mag. Dazzle trying to keep him nice and low. Mag will simply surge himself back. Mid lane, what are we seeing so far between Kaiser and Noah? Well, a little bit of a cheeky rotation in there from the Centaur Conqueror from Chen, giving Noah a bit of a harassment. And he is going to be okay here, but 1 minute and a half in. Things looking alright in the mid lane for this Queen of Pain. 3 for 5 against the 1 for 3 of Kaiser. Quap off to a very strong start.
The Chen is doing a nice job of harassing, though. It's always important to note that he's already used the salve and one of his shared tangos. So the Queen has no more regeneration outside of one shared tango left. And he is getting his bottle now. So I think he'll be fine. But just trying to give Kaiser a little bit of an easier start. Didn't really work out that well for him because he missed a few free CS, which is a big problem. You want to make sure your Necromastery is up to a high level before your Chen creep is off doing something else or just ends up dying. So unfortunately for London Conspiracy, their middle lane, their off lane, and their mid currently are both doing worse than the side of Vegas.
Indeed. I mean, this game, in terms of it going late, I guess Vega, they're always going to be... Are they going to be happy they've got an Ursa, but at the same time, Zelsi, with the Shadow Fiend, I guess he can transition into a pretty scary punching machine. I mean, we see at the mid lane. Also, he's looking for this Fisher here, trying to catch up Kaiser, and no, he's just going to throw it there to clear off this Chen creep.
And the creep actually got the kill. Range creep MVP, so neither of them got the gold for that one. That was a bit unfortunate. But I do feel... in the long run, Kaiser will probably be fine. Like, Shadow Fiend is always going to recover, and I don't think that Vega will try to kill him with just an Earthshaker. I think he's just being here to be frustrating for the SF. And he could also help secure the top rune when the 4-minute mark rolls around, so just being a general nuisance.
And I guess, yeah, he's not really needed up here on this top lane because 9 Pasha, he's having a fine old time farming at this moment. 15 for 5 here on the Ursa. At the same time, pretty much a similar level of farm going to Madder on this bottom lane. And well, Mag, giving S224 a cheeky rundown, and I mean, there's no poison to touch. He has got the heal and the shallow grave, and Dara will simply drop the ward and try and scare Mag off. And maybe, indeed, with the boosted burst damage thanks to the Decrepify. That's your first blood there going to Madara.
That was a very nice play. He waited out the surge because he knew the Decrepify slow would allow him to get in range for the blast to actually deal damage. So, patience coming out from Madara or Madara, however you want to say it. Still, the lanes, if you look at the CS, like Darkseer has gotten 9 creep kills, Nyx has gotten 5. It's not a gigantic difference by any stretch, but I think Mag has still gotten almost a full level on what the Nyx has currently. Now, if Mag dies again, the lanes are totally equalized. Like, giving away first blood is still very bad. You do not want to give Pugna first blood because now Madara already has his arcane boots, and he's level 5. So the next time he dies, as we're going to see a kill here in the river as well. Looks like they caught out solo on the Shaker.
And getting rid of the Shaker, who has been sitting around mid, trying to do what he can to harass down Kaiser. Now no one, just throwing the dagger out. He's going to be fine, they're both teams. And one will just bottle straight back up. Kaiser has got the bottle on its way out here as well, towards the mid lane. But, I mean, indeed, so Vega, with the fact that they've got this Leshrac in this support position, do you think they were going into this draft anticipating the fact that they might have to do that, or were they hoping it was going to be a position 1 Lesh?
I just think that
they could play it as a position.
Yeah, there's just flexibility with their lineup. I think picking Pugna into Ursa is actually really good because Decrepify is a fantastic defensive tool against a hero that is purely physical damage based.
Okay.
I think Vega went for an Ursa last pick because it's something that does a tremendous amount of damage and can rush BKB and blink and just fight mid-game, which synergizes well with Vega's lineup. You have multitude of stuns between the Shaker and the Lesh, you got Queen, and you also have a Surge at your disposal with an Ion Shell. So the synergy is definitely there for the Ursa pick.
Oh, cheeky little wrap around down to no one, and they do have the burst damage. Nicely getting both of the raises onto the quad there. Very nice play from London Conspiracy.
Nice little wraparound. They're doing very well in the early game. The Chen rotations have done a lot for them, just from relieving a bit of pressure in the middle lane by sending the center onto no one, getting the kill on the Shaker, and then killing the mid. I would definitely say this Chen has already had way more impact than I was expecting.
Level 4 at the moment, 1k gold in the bank for himself as well. Skylark on the offlane hitting halfway through level 4 in comparison to Mag. Mag has got the lead halfway through the level 5 and closing in on being able to finish off that Soul Ring to allow him to continue the Iron Shell spam in lane. But indeed, a start that LC are going to be happy with. Vega, they still do have 9 Pasha, who's sitting on the top of the board here on this Ursa. And I mean, in a game like this, is there a certain point that we can expect to see 9 Pasha leave the lane and try and smoke into Roche, or will he be looking to just sit and farm it out for the time being?
He can do Roche even now, if he wants to. I think 3 or 4 points in a Fury Swipes is obviously better, just because of the new Enrage and how it functions in doubling the damage that you deal with your passive. But at any point, if he feels that he can, without the side of LC realizing it, he just goes. Because ultimately, LC, they don't have great initiation until that Nyx hits level 6, and right now Skylark's only level 4. So I would even say going for an earlier Roche might be more beneficial than waiting it out, because then you need a sentry there, and you need a ward all the time if you're even going to try to attempt it.
And the Kaiser now, he's managed to finish off his treads. Queen of Pain, what she got coming out, it is just the plain old brown boots at the moment. 7 minutes in, Madara still on this bottom lane, getting that farm. He's going to go straight for the mechanism by the looks of it here on Madara. So obviously going to allow Chen to look for other things. Actually, no, they both picked up a headdress. I mean, in terms of build, what do you think we're expecting from the Pugna and the Chen in this match?
Well, they're going to need a pipe.
Okay.
Without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. Like against Queen, Shaker, Lesh, Darkseer, you want a pipe. So I'm kind of leaning more towards the Pugna getting the mech. I think Guardian Greaves do a little bit more for him. And he's also more likely to get the farm to finish up the Guardian Greaves, which are obviously more expensive than just finishing up a pipe. So that is my inclination for the item pickups of those 2 particular heroes. And I guess it doesn't really matter who buys what, but Spartan has already had a pretty decent start. I think going for the mech timing for him is a safer bet.
Still in the mid lane, Kaiser in terms of CS, he's now ahead of no one on this Queen of Pain solo. He's hanging around looking for some action. But I mean, for the side of Vega, is this starting to become a bit of an issue? The fact that this Earthshaker, 8 minutes in, is only sitting on level 2, and he hasn't really been able to find any kind of positive action this game.
I think they're kind of just waiting it out. For example, the Queen can start moving around. It's only going to take a minute or 2 for Solo to sit in the lane and get like level 4 or 5. Solo experience can be all you need for a couple of minutes on a support to almost fully recover. And as expected here, Pasha, he's going for the very early Roshan. He's put his second point into Fury Swipes here. And this will give him a multitude of levels if he can get it. And it does not look like London Conspiracy know that he is in there.
Indeed, they're not scouting it out at 2. They do realize that, of course, this Leshrac just soaking up the solo XP and farm from this lane, but they won't be able to get to the Roshan in time, and this is going to be very nice for Vega now. 8 minutes into the game, picking up that Aegis onto 9 Pasha, getting him straight up to level 8, and almost certainly in terms of net worth, yeah, shooting him up to the top of the board now. 4.1k on your Ursa. So.
Did he split experience with somebody? I feel like that should have given him more. Because he was almost level 7, so he barely got over a level. I feel like Roshan gives more than that. Maybe I'm just...
I want to say he might have given some to Mag. Mag's now sitting on level 8 compared to level 6
yeah,
Nyx.
okay. I think maybe it was a Darkseer sitting down there then. That makes sense. Because I thought for sure he would get like 2.5 levels, not 1 1/3. That was a bit weird. Anyway, Chen potentially looking for a smoke gank here on Pasha, but he does have Aegis, so that's not going to work out. And Pasha has the potential now to get a 9-minute Blink Dagger if he wants to go for it.
Oh wow, indeed, and that is going to be go time over the side of Vega. They're looking for a wraparound. No one, he's already used the Blink. Spartan's trying to find the control trap. We'll find it, but the burst damage is there onto the Chen. No one finding the kill onto the Chen. And looks like no one's going to be able to get away with it as well, with the control not being there from the creeps. Queen of Pain's going to be okay, and things looking very nice for Vega in the last couple of minutes. Bottom lane, the pressure's being applied here by Madara. Now the TP coming in from 9 Pasha. He has indeed picked up that Blink Dagger. Mag's got the Iron Shell onto the Ursa. Let's see if Ursa can find any kind of action here. How crazy does he want to go here? He's going to hang around in the tree line. But again, both the side of LC, ST2, and Madara just keeping themselves safe and sound behind that tier 1. So Ursa's just going to continue to wrap round to the mid lane here.
This is the safer call to gank. You don't want to gank a Pugna Dazzle lane. That lane is way too difficult to kill for an Ursa. And looks like 224 and Terrible keeping in.
Yeah, straight away, look at the Ursa go to work onto the Shadow Fiend. They've brought down Kaiser. No one on the side of Vega dropping, no one getting incredibly low. And he's going to be fine and backs himself off, but yeah, they were not expecting that old cheeky wraparound. Yeah, does he want to go? Does he want to go? That mech is now complete onto Madara, so it's going to be a little bit harder to fight into for the side of Vega. But 3 for 2, Vega. I mean, yeah, the fact that they could get that Roshan and that amount of gold of the Ursa, giving him this Blink Dagger, is putting them in a very healthy position when it comes to looking for the fight.
The one scare for Vega still is the Pugna. He's kind of like the X Factor for LC. He's fantastic against Ursa if you're just paying attention to who he's going to go on. Like, a Decrepify is an autosave, and then a Grave is also an autosave. So they have 2 methods of stopping the Ursa from instantly killing somebody, which I think is better than a lot of teams have against the hero if you don't have hard disable, which London Conspiracy have 1. So they can impale him, or excuse me, Carapace.
Oh, hello, that's a cheeky kill here from Skylark. He's got a double damage rune, goes in with Vendetta, and will find himself the kill. And I want to talk to you about this one. Myself and Hani, when we were casting yesterday, we did see Trixie do this on his Nyx Assassin, going for the Midas rather than a Blink Dagger. What's the thought process here,
I do believe that getting Midas is okay in a lot of situations on this hero, just because of the fact that all of his spells are amazing.
Yes.
So, for example, Impale, you get a 0.5 second stun increase every single level. Cooldown stays the same, but you get damage and you get stun duration, which is great. Your mana burn goes down by 8 seconds per level, and also increases the multiplier, which is huge. And then your last spell, Carapace, just increases the stun duration and lowers the cooldown as well. So a 2.4 second stun against Vega's lineup for free, and having an Impale and a max mana burn can be huge for you. And it's not as if London Conspiracy need to end the game super fast, but having a hero like Nyx who can transition into Aghanims, we saw how powerful that base defense utility can be the other day. So I do believe that Midas is a pretty solid choice on this hero. And if Vega aren't doing anything with the time anyway, then it's going to pay for itself eventually.
Seeing Vega here going for a bit of a smoke action towards the mid lane. There's 3 of them here, Pasha, Solo, and Seema the Slayer. Pasha desperately looking for a jump in. Is he going to be able to find anyone here? Chen. And then Shadow Fiend is going to go straight to work on the Shadow Fiend. There's going to be the fish here as well. Hancock does come out. He's trying to get off the Requiem. Can he get it off? No, he can't get it off. He's getting stunned up. But now the side of LC, they're to turn it around. They've taken down 1. They've taken down 2. Aegis being popped on the Ursa. Can they go for a second round onto 9 Pasha? They can indeed. It's going to be a double kill for Kaiser. And London Conspiracy are going to be very happy with the fact that Vega just walked in and gave them that.
I'm not entirely sure why Vega went so hard on that. Now, they put an aggressive ward down in the woods, but they didn't really see anything, right? Like, they walked into the jungle almost blind in terms of being able to know where every single support was at that particular point. And unfortunately for them, they walk into a Shadow Fiend who has Chen support and pretty much the rest of his team behind him. So maybe one of the worst kind of fights to take, I guess, in this situation, but I can see why they wanted to go, just because they had Aegis and they wanted to make it work. Seema now in trouble.
Indeed, the side of LC, they're ready to take more than just the tower as Leshrac comes a little bit too close for his own comfort, getting caught out. And I guess this is the point 30 minutes in where if London Conspiracy group up like this, it's very hard for Vega to do much about it.
That's one big concern. Now, Vega had pretty decent lanes, but the team fights have been going the way of London Conspiracy, and they also had their offlaner, Mag, give up First Blood, which is pretty uncommon for him. He is making his way towards mech. I think he actually almost has it, or has it completed right now, and just needs to send it out on the courier. But in the meantime, gonna see middle lane. Oh, stun missed. Unfortunate.
Just a little bit late there with the stun, trying to open it with that Vendetta strike. But Skylark indeed does have that Midas complete, and he's been able to use it just before the 13-minute mark. So this is a good timing for your offlaners to have that Midas. And London Conspiracy, of course, already in a fairly comfortable position at this match, 7-2 at the moment. Is going to mean that this next, he's going to get a lot from that Midas. And the question is, in terms of build, does he just go for the Blink and maybe even to Aghanim's? As well, that was indeed what Trixie's item of choice was in the game we saw the Nyx Midas yesterday.
He made Arcanes, right?
Yes, I believe he did first.
Yeah, I think Arcanes are like a necessary thing on Nyx, no matter what. Or some item that grants you mana regeneration, at the very least. But yeah, I do love the Blink Aghanim's build. Aghanim's is ridiculous on this hero. Completely insane. Amazing for high ground defense. Great for team fights. You can guarantee a 5-second stun on a hero if you know how to use the burrow combination with your Impale. So the ideal opening is you Vendetta, and then you stun, and then you immediately burrow, and then you carapace, and that's like, it's an AoE around where you are instead of requiring yourself to take damage. But anyway, smoke up from London Conspiracy. Looks like Kaiser did not quite get the smoke, but they are going in.
Indeed, Kaiser will be caught on the ward here, so it's a question whether Vega think he's just trying to bait.
Broken.
Indeed, Mag's going to get spotted out. The stun isn't going to catch from Skylark. And looks like Vega, they're going to be okay against this. And will be able to keep themselves back and keep themselves safe here. They're actually going to head towards the top lane now, the side of London Conspiracy. Vega, they are all here to work with the defense. Can London Conspiracy find the jump in here? Let's have a look at the center on the back line. Skylark coming through. He's nearly got enough mana for the Vendetta here, but he's running a bit low here on this Nyx Assassin, and looks like London Conspiracy will simply reveal themselves here in the lane. And we are going to have a cheeky pause coming out from Solar. Bit of lag coming out, but I mean, at this point, if London Conspiracy choose to just power down and take this tower, I guess they do have now level 6 on the Earthshaker. They've got the Echo Slam, but it's going to be quite hard for Vega to stop this kind of momentum here. They're
going to have to surge the Shaker, and I think if they want to try to even get an Echo off. It's one of those situations where we talked about the potential of 5-man from London Conspiracy early on in the draft. They have a Chen, they last picked a Pugna, they have a Dazzle. So they have their 2 pushing heroes, they have Sustain, and they also have Teamfight with the Shadow Fiend and the Nyx. So their lineup is very well balanced, whereas Vega, their lanes are decent, but they're kind of reliant on mid-game, getting a couple of core items up. Aghanim's is fantastic for the Queen, if you can get it. You want Blink on your Shaker, and then you want your Darkseer to have Mech and perhaps his Blink Dagger as well. So there's a lot of items that Vega are going to need before they really have their lineup come to its peak. Whereas London Conspiracy, they already got what they need. Like, they don't really need anything else outside of just having the Mech and the Arcanes and the Pugna and the Chen there, and maybe making his way towards that pipe. But he actually opted to go back for Medallion instead, maybe just for Roshan's securing.
Okay, and let's see what else he can do here. They're ready to try and push onto the tier 1. Vega, they just back right up. They don't want to have anything to do with this one. They're just going to let the side take the tower by the looks of it. And I guess at this point, this is the safest decision for them to make.
There's no way they can fight 5 versus 5 against that. Not a chance. They don't have the damage to really kill any of the people on London Conspiracy. Between the Hand of God and the Mech, the Guardian Greaves aren't even done yet, and it's already kind of looking a little bit iffy for Vega, taking those 5-man engagements.
Here we go. They're going to look to try and push again. What's the plan here for the side of London Conspiracy? They're just going to clear up the jungle. We're seeing Quap indeed getting closer and closer to that Aghanims. Has the Ochre Club complete now on top of the point booster. And looks like they want to go for more here. Dual Scepter from Kaiser holding Solo up, and Solo, he will get the Echo Slam off. Looks to for a Fissure as well. He won't quite go down, and now the Mech coming out just in time with the Hand of God as well to nullify what was being thrown out by no one here on the Queen of Pain.
He actually mech'd before his Guardian Greaves got there, so he has Guardian Greaves as well.
And I think off the back of that, they might just take this tier 2 here. The side of London Conspiracy, they do lose the bottom lane to the push of Mag and Seema the Slayer. But it's essentially going to be a tier 1 or a tier 2 at the moment unless Vega are able to do anything about this. And it doesn't look like it indeed. So indeed, 60 minutes, the Greaves onto the Pugna. What do you reckon about it?
Oh my god, these TPs.
They want to do something. The ward's being dropped now, and then with the Decrepify onto no one. There'll be a Fisher coming out. Dazzle on the back lines, healing up the side of London Conspiracy. There's your vacuum into wall. No one with the Scream as well, bringing them low. Madara, he gets a shallow grave. He's going to be okay for the time being. He's looking to TP out, and he'll get himself out of there. He escaped. They've only lost the Chen. Will Dazzle be able to get out as well? He will. They only lose the Chen after Vega throw everything into that defense. I mean, they do keep the tier 2 standing. But London Conspiracy were lucky to get out with that, minor of a casualty.
That was painful for Vega. They needed to get like 2 or 3 kills out of that, not 1. Especially not killing just the Chen, a hero who barely lost any money at all and is not really relevant, I feel, right now. So Vega, they got to try to prioritize the next Roshan. I assume London Conspiracy are going to contest this. It's less than a minute left before it's alive, and they absolutely cannot let Vega get it. Either team who gets this Aegis is going to have a huge amount of control for the next 5 or 6 minutes after that. Now, Vega just going for some straight-up lane pressure here, trying to make the best of their bad situation, having teleported 5 heroes top and only getting 1 kill. Whereas the SF has gone for Blink Dagger before even getting a BKB, so very high solo kill potential now on Kaiser. And his team fight should also be quite strong.
And talking about the Blink Daggers, the side of Vega, Mag has now picked himself up 1 on this Darkseer. So, I mean, in terms of how team fights can go, Vega, they've got the potential. The old Vacuum Wall, Echo Slam, Sonic Wave, everything flying through. It's a lot of burst damage. But with these Guardian Greaves, with the Hand of God from Chen, and obviously with the Weave Heals from the Dazzle, there is a lot of sustain for London Conspiracy.
That's kind of the thing about their lineup that Vega don't have. Their sustain is not nearly as good. So I believe right now London Conspiracy, they have, Arcanes and Guardian Greaves together.
Is he going to hang around for this one? Roshan is literally about to come up.
Oh, is he going to walk out? Okay, I was so scared he was going to walk out of the pit.
There we go. And he's got a good use of this double damage as well.
They know, though. They are already there. Tornado for scouting. Okay, they know. Weave Vision, he has to leave. Does he just die here?
Middle towers
He's got the back of the Seema. We'll find a split up onto the Pugna. Lightning Storm will come out as well. He's not going to die. We'll be able to get himself out of there, but that would have been pretty big if...
he still has Blink.
That's pretty respectable. 90 minutes in after what was not a great start. I think we were, 8 minutes into the game, and we were noting the fact that he was still level 2 in the mid lane. So this is very impressive stuff from Solo on this Earthshaker, and that's going to... I don't think LC will be expecting the Blink Dagger on ES at this point.
Definitely not. This is going to be a huge surprise, and I believe they also smoked into this, so right now LC are in huge trouble if they get caught out by the Shaker.
Well, let's see what's happening here. Kaiser hanging in the pit here. Pasha. He's going to walk himself in. We'll get Troll trapped up. They're trying to control this Earth. They will indeed Requiem for the sideline. Echo Slap coming straight in with the hand of God the back. The Guardian Greaves, they're coming through. Madara's going to live for the time being. Manages to get out of the blast as well. It's still alive. The Pugna will finally go down into the burst damage of the Qual. And now Kaiser, he's in a lot of trouble as well. Uses himself up, but he's so damn low. It's only him, Skylark, and the Chen still left alive. Kaiser will go down. Skylark trying to find a return to Seema. Will get it, but now with the fish onto the Nyx Assassin. Blink forward from Mag. Here's the Spike Carab is coming out time, but now, again, no one with the plays, triple kill. And I've got to say, Andy, they were not expecting that Blink Dagger on the ES.
That timing was so important for Vega. And they also have their Ursa still alive, so they get Roshan. Most teams wouldn't be able to do this because obviously you can't kill Roshan that effectively with a Darkseer, a Shaker, and a Queen. But because of the fact that they have Pasha, this secures Roshan almost 100% for the side of Vega. They are sending in a Chen creep to try to be annoying, but I don't really think it's going to do much.
Indeed not. This is going to be the second Roshan of the game going to the side of Vega now. 8-8 in this matchup. Still top of the net worth is your Shadow Fiend on the side of LC, but the side of Vega, they're beginning to look pretty damn scary after that team fight in that Rosh.
That's what we talked about. It's just the matter of having the Blink on the Shaker is a huge benefit, especially in those situations where the enemy team doesn't even realize that you have it. So you get a free fight off of that. And because of the fact that it was a Roshan fight, Vega needed that desperately. I would even go as far as to say that if LC had gotten that Roshan and they won the team fight as well, the game would have been so far gone for Vega that they would have had a very small chance of winning. But just because of that engagement, I would say they're almost completely back in this game.
And if anything, maybe even on top. Let's have a look at the graphs at the moment. And I mean, yeah, look at that swing. It was about a 3k for the side of LC, but thanks to that fight, Roshan, a huge over 6,000 swing towards the side of Vega.
Yep.
And XP was pretty much balanced, but now coming to 7,500. That was a huge bit of play there for Vega.
We're also not even taking into account that London Conspiracy's team, the Shadow Fiend has gone Blink Yules. This is a non-right-click Shadow Fiend. And we're also looking at BKBs coming out from the Ursa and potentially the Queen of Pain within the next 5 minutes or so. that means that this Shadow Fiend build is going to fall off drastically against what Vega are building, because the rest of his team is also magic damage. You have a Pugna, you have a Nyx, and then you have, sure, Dazzle Weave and Presence of the Dark Lord will reduce some armor, but I don't think that's going to be sufficient for London Conspiracy feeling comfortable dragging this game out when they had a fight like that go so poorly.
Indeed, and Skylark just snooping around here in the Dire jungle. Did manage to find his Blink Dagger on top of the Midas, and with 1400 gold on him as well now. Chen on top of the medallion. He's not got a huge amount. He's trying to work towards something with that headdress. And it will almost certainly be the pipe with the fact that Madara did, of course, go for those full-out Guardian and Greaves. But yeah, at this point of the game, I think, as you said, Vega are going to be a bit more happy with this passive state. And now the fact that 9 Pasha as well, he's only 400 gold away from the BKB. And once you have this Blink Dagger BKB on an Ursa, that a timing as respectable as this, it's going to be so hard for LC to do anything against him.
Their power spike is going to be gigantic. There's not going to be a lot that London Conspiracy can do outside of try to kite.
Yes.
Like, that's going to be their strategy. Avoid engagements, try to bait out the BKBs, and then see if you can do anything after the fact. Fortunately, their Nyx did go Midas, so it's not as if Skylark is going to be useless this game. And this is also why the Midas was such a great choice. Because if one thing goes wrong, then all of a sudden your Blink Arcane's build doesn't have any farming capability whatsoever. But Skylark can actually make his way back into the game just by being able to get to that Aghanim's gold. And that can be a huge difference when defending your high ground. Now, late game, anything can happen in Dota. I used to think that some lineups were just like auto-win in a lot of situations for late game, but I've seen so many Dota games now that even though London Conspiracy are in the situation where obviously they don't have great map control, and Vega are leading, that if the Nyx can get enough items, this hero is fantastic late game.
Here we go, Vega, they're ready to try and put on the pressure here on this bottom lane. They've got all the ults back up, bar the Sonic Wave, that's still 35 seconds, but no one, he's not around for this one anyway. BKB is now being flown out to the Ursa. So this is going to be a very hard fight for the side of London Conspiracy to take if they wish to go for it. But I mean, there we go, I mean the stats, they never lie. When he gets that blink before 20 minutes, 61% win rate. And I mean, that's a massive difference as well, you know, that little bit of a cut-off changing it to 43. Vega, they will back off now, TP back to the tier 3 to the middle lane. With the side of LC, they're looking to pressure onto the tier 2. Won't be able to quite finish it off, but London Conspiracy, they want to kind of stand their ground here. Fisher will come out, catch out the Chen. With the Never Blast here, bringing the tower down low. Looks like Vega won't be able to stop this tier 2 going down. Will they be able to look for a fight at the back of it? Oh, they can't look at the fortification. And that looks like it's enough to spook out the side of London Conspiracy. They'll take themselves away from this push. No one's seeing if he can catch anyone out. He himself, he's got the recipe in the Ogre Club. He's only just over 800 away from his own BKB. And London Conspiracy, they'll just all TP out here on the high ground. And the last one to go, he does manage to get himself out. There's no vacuum for the tree lines. Not quite there. Seema looking for a hopeful split off. Isn't going to catch anyone. But both teams managing to avoid each other there after that push.
Well, that tower has 15 health. I sure hope somebody from Vega denies that tier 2 in middle lane. It's very, very low at the moment, but still nice for Vega to get London Conspiracy out of their hair for the time being. I don't really feel Vega are pressured to end or like go for tier 2s or anything crazy like that. Although they do have Aegis at their disposal, so if they ever see an opening for a team fight, it is possible that we could see something break out, as they do have some pretty good aggressive wards going at the moment. So BKB now finished up on the Shadow Fiend. That's a huge thing. Being able to get a Blink Requiem just for the sheer damage reduction can make a big, big difference inside of these team fights. If Pasha is able to focus the Shadow Fiend, though, before he's able to really deal any damage, I think London Conspiracy will be in some serious problems.
Oh, and he's going straight in here. There's going to be a Fishy catching out S224. There's a grab from Madara, protecting the Dazzle against those right clicks from the Ursa. And they're going to be fine, London Conspiracy there. Vega trying to go aggressive. Doesn't pay off this time, but they don't lose anything. Ursa in a pretty strong and stable position, level 13 into this game with that BKB complete.
I'm kind of wondering what London Conspiracy's game plan is right now. Like, obviously you don't want to fight into the Aegis of Vega. That's way too difficult. Do you just try to hope for the late game where your next assassin starts doing a bit more? Weave can be a nice late game utility.
Oh, look at this as well.
More farm.
They're managing to take a triple Ancient stack from the side of London Conspiracy.
They can't do it that well, though. Like, Pasha is still taking a ton of damage doing this, and it's very slow. It's not even an effective stack steal, in my opinion. Yeah, I think he's just going to run. There we go. Yeah, so it's kind of tough because none of their heroes really are good at dealing damage to Ancients, but I guess it doesn't really matter too much when your Queen now has a 10-second BKB, and your Darkseer is getting very close to even having a Shiva's complete at 27 minutes in. He only needs the recipe, which is 500 gold. This is really, really scary for London Conspiracy at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about the fact that, yeah, their draft, it seems, it's got a very kind of significant way that they would have wanted the game to pan out when they pick up these heroes. But I guess, obviously, with the potential of Nyx, does manage to get himself an Aghanims, and looking at the lineup as a whole, I guess it's kind of hard for Vega to push onto the high ground, and well, they are going to catch out 9 Pasha. It doesn't matter, I want to follow this one up. Nah, he's going to let him go. But yeah, 8-8 between the sides, but it certainly feels like Vega, the game is in their hands at this point in time.
Drawing it out is London Conspiracy's game plan. Their Shadow Fiend needs more items. Having the BKB, the Blink, the Euls, he wanted the game to just be full momentum based. He didn't want it to kind of fall into this passivity where now Echo.
Solo with the solo Echo. They will bring down the Chen. And well, Vega, do they look for anything more here? No one blinking forward. He's going to throw the dagger out onto the Nyx assassin. But yes, nice little cheeky pick off there for the Earthshaker. As Chen does indeed crumble in his own jungle.
It's very easy to throw out a solo Echo when you're this far ahead. So Vega aren't feeling the pressure right now. They're just like, yep, we see a Chen, we kill the Chen, we back off. We know that London Conspiracy are not going to do nearly as much with the map as we are. We're farming on 3 or 4 heroes simultaneously. Pasha's making his way towards a Hex. The Queen is probably also going to follow suit with a Hex. And Mag now has his Shivas complete. So even the next Roshan contention for London Conspiracy is going to be tough unless they can either find a pick or they can get a nice Requiem off inside of the pit. But Roshan, we're going to know his spawn timer very soon. And then potentially we could be seeing another engagement if London Conspiracy finds somebody with their smoke.
Indeed, heading straight up and with the Vendetta.
Oh,
yeah, Seema is in a lot of trouble here. There's the full 4-man coming in onto the Leshrac. They'll blow him up. Incredibly easy to kill going there the way of Skylarking on the Nyx assassin. So
that's a tank gank right there. But that's actually okay. Like losing your position 4 or 5 for a 5-man smoke is definitely worth for Vega. You don't really want to fight to break out if you don't have vision. Oh, no one. He spots out the Chen. He's just going to TP away.
Ooh,
that was very close.
Indeed, just on the edge, looking for that vacuum. Wasn't quite in time though. And both teams just backing themselves out. And yeah, I mean, at this point, the fact that Mag, as you were saying, has the Shiva's guard, you're looking at a Quap that's fairly stacked in himself. Earthshaker, he's only a couple of hundred away from the 4-staff now on top of the Blink Dagger. Looking incredibly scary. Now, Shadow Fiend, he's picked himself up the Ultimate Orb, so I guess is he going for the old Skadi build here, Kaiser?
I would assume so. It's very nice for kiting the Ursa. If he doesn't have Surge on and he's BKB'd, you can just hit him once and then walk away. And then you also have the Crepify to keep yourself safe from just getting hit by bare hands. But, again, it doesn't give him a tremendous amount of damage. I think London Conspiracy want to take these drawn-out team fights where the Nyx is able to get multiple stuns off. You carapace a few spells for disables. You have your Nether Ward dealing damage as the fight kind of goes forward. And maybe if the BKBs were off from Vega, you can make something happen. But it is a daunting task for London Conspiracy, to say the least.
And let's have a look at the graphs, actually, how they kind of stagnated towards this pass a bit. Yeah, it's around 5,000 in terms of XP, so not a massive amount. And it is still just 3k for the side of Vega. So the difference is, in terms of the numbers, isn't massive, but I think it's the difference in just the lineups and the heroes that have been drafted that's kind of what's putting Vega ahead at this point.
This is definitely where we're headed right now. It's just the sheer hero composition that's the problem. Smoke not broken yet. Pasha looking for something here.
Spartan might tank this one. That's the tank.
And that's a Roshan spawn as well. If Vega want to go for this, it should be free. Oh, they want to fight?
BKB's just going to get popped straight away by Pasha, and no one knows. They're trying to come in here with the Requiem of Souls. Does manage to get it off. They've blown up the Darks here. This is pretty nice here for the side of London Conspiracy. The question is, can they find anything more? Guardian Greaves have been popped. No one's going to have to blink himself away. And now it's the side of Vega that are having to retreat. Skylark with a very nice little impale there on the 9 Pasha, but the Fissure comes through. Now the Echo Snap from Solo onto Skylark and Kaiser. Kaiser getting low. He's got a shallow grave. He'll live for a little bit, but not for long enough. He will go down. Solo's been decrepit, and the blast coming through from Madara. That's going to be another kill. It's a 2 for 3 so far between the sides. But Vega, they might even find more here. They're looking for S224. It's going to go for the cheeky TP out, but they've got a Split Earth. The Split Earth will be there to cancel the teleport. He'll go down as well. So it does end up being a...
I think it was end up being 4
for 2, wasn't it?
4 for 2, yeah.
4 for 2, yeah. So, I mean, it looked kind of good for the London Conspiracy then, a bit of that fight. You know, there was some nice play from the Nyx Assassin from Skylark, getting a few big stuns off. But I think it's just the fact that Vega, with what they've got, it's just far too much for London Conspiracy to fight against. And, I mean, it was a risk that London Conspiracy were taking trying to fight there because, as you're saying, now they've just given the rest of the window to take the 3rd Roshan for the game.
I believe London Conspiracy would have won that fight if that fissure hadn't blocked Kaiser up on the high ground. So as soon as Solo threw that fissure, the fight was over, because no one from London Conspiracy could get actually up there to help the Shadow Fiend. And he had already used Requiem to solo kill Mag. Now, the way that Skylark faded out the BKBs, that was a huge play, because the BKBs more or less did nothing inside of Vega. And they do manage to get the Aegis up here on Pasha. Haste Rune, picked up by the Chen, he'll be fine.
Interestingly, Pasha did pop the BKB there. I guess he was potentially a little bit worried about Nyx Assassin still.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a sentry down, so it definitely makes sense if that was what he popped the BKB for. And they do have vision up here. Run, Spartan!
Oh, the fissure onto 2. There's going to be a shallow grave and a Decrepify onto Spartan. That's going to do the job. Surge run down. Oh no, sorry, not the Surge. It was just the fact that he was a very speedy little Chen getting himself out of there. Oh, mid lane. Skylark.
They have a sentry there. He needs to be careful.
Top lane as well. Kaiser just continues to try and find stuff. He's nearly got enough of that second ultimate ult.
Oh, he has a gem. The Shaker has a gem. Dear God, he is living life on the edge right now.
He certainly is. The sentry ward will catch him out. They know him. They know he's there. And oh, hello. They're coming in for the big action here onto Skylark. There's nowhere for this Nyx Assassin to run. Nowhere for him to hide.
I wonder why he decided to come out there. Maybe his Vendetta was wearing off anyway, and he figured he would just go no matter what. Well, now London Conspiracy find themselves in a very awkward position where Vega once again have full map control. They have the Aegis for, I believe, is that third or second Aegis? No, it's third. Yeah,
well, he's got the cheese. Who's got the cheese?
Queen.
The Qual. Yeah. So this is now incredibly hard for the side of London Conspiracy to find. So they're going to be able to take themselves this tier 2. The question is, do they want to try and push it up to the high ground here, do you feel?
It's going to be difficult to break high ground for Vega. Their team is not amazing at push. Like, Ursa got nerfed in terms of killing towers. He's much better at killing heroes, though, just because he can break things like snares or any other things that aren't hard stuns. But yeah, going high ground for Vega is going to be tough. And I think just being able to effectively utilize the map for another 10, maybe 15 minutes is the safer play. We see a lot of teams in the European qualifier like NIP doing that. They play a slow, methodical game until they're 100% certain they can break high ground without any real risk. And again, with so much on the line, who can blame them?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like both teams, in fact, playing a lot kind of more reserved. I mean, we're 34 minutes in. It's only 11-14 between the sides. And it's a little bit surprising, also, watching a side like Vega, a team that we're very much used to going for the full-on action. But either way, this method of playing this game is certainly working out for the team. And a lot of the players having a very good time. I mean, you look at the Quap, she's only died once this game. She's got 7 kills, 3 assists. She's looking fairly tanked up as well. And, of course, the fact that this Ursa is working incredibly nicely for the side as a pick.
I love the fact that Vega run Ursa. It's a hero that, even though has received a lot of buffs, we don't see a ton. I mean, he's picked every once in a while, but I think Pasha has played him a handful of times just within this tournament. And you also have the opportunity to get Roshan very easily. I think that's a large reason why Vega decided to pick him, is because at a very early stage, like even pre-10 minutes, you can just go into Rosh. And if you're missing for even like a minute, you can be too late already if you're on the enemy team and you're trying to stop him.
We're going to see the side of London Conspiracy. They're looking for some action. They've all come out here to the bottom lane to look for this tier 2 push. With the Skadi now complete onto Kaiser. Here's a bit of a powerhouse, but the question is, have Vega got more? Pasha TPing in, Solo here with the Fisher will catch out the Chen. There'll be a 4-star bringing him away. Pasha trying to find the Blink. Mag and looking for a cheeky vacuum into the trees, trying to catch someone out. It's only the creeps from Chen. And Pasha, he's going to want to go for this one. Go straight in. There's going to be a Yorcept onto him. He's still got the BKB hitting this Ursa, but he's probably going to want to save that for round 2 as he's got the Aegis. BKB popped by no one. Scarlet with the cheeky lulling tail from the sidelines. Blink forward for no one, and now looking for Spartan, looking for Madara. Madara's going to try and TP out. Pasha coming straight forward with the swipes onto Spartan. S224 looking to TP out. And they're going to wait to stop him. Yes, they have the split earth coming in from across the tree line. Vega ending up finding 2 kills there against the side of London Conspiracy and losing nothing.
A very nice chase from Vega. They wanted the Shadow Fiend, of course, but Kaiser a little bit too hard to track down, and he's still very tanky with his Scotty, now recently completed. So again, Vega taking another successful fight. I believe the Queen now has Hex. Yep, there it is. And Ursa should also be very close to his, if not having it already. So I think he's like 400 gold away, give or take. And even having the Boots of Travel, he's able to just counter-push lanes. Pasha has no fear at this point. There's really not anything on the side of London Conspiracy that can kill him, outside of maybe getting a Nyx combo into a Shadow Fiend Requiem. That's like the guaranteed way to kill him.
Yeah, indeed. It's It's looking to be a tough one for the side of London Conspiracy at this point. They do still, yeah, it's the Shadow Theme really. A lot is riding on Kaiser and what he can do in these fights, but it's only going to be so much against an Ursa looking as scary as Nine Passion. Indeed, as you were saying, the Skadi is now complete and on its way out. Oh no, sorry, no, it was the Hex, sorry, yeah, as you were saying. So the Hex, I guess, so why go for the Hex on a hero like this?
Well, Ursa has notoriously bad int game, right?
Okay.
Like, he has 1.5 int game. That's awful. He needs mana to be able to spam out waves, so Urshock is a very efficient nuke, right? It's 75 mana for 240 damage on a 6-second cooldown. So you actually use quite a bit of mana if you're using your spells off, or like all the time, right? So the Hex gives you enough mana on its own to pretty much give you permanent sustain outside of the map. And since Pasha already has a Vlad's, he has lifesteal. So he has 2 methods to sustain. He never has to go back to base. He has bots, so he can be anywhere he wants. And he has blink initiation. So that is a perfect way to blink in. You can BKB, blink, Hex either the Pugna or the Dazzle to prevent them from graving or decrepifying, and you just kill whoever you want. It's a very solid item all around. And plus, unlike Basher or Abyssal Blade, you don't actually have to blink into melee range to use it. You can actually just blink in and Hex somebody in the back, which can be hugely important for getting a quick pick-off kill.
So London Conspiracy did go for a smoke there into the dire jungle. Not able to find anything because Vega at that point still backed up into the base. Coming up to 1200 gold on your Earthshaker on top of the 4-staff. No one with the 1k on top of his Hex. So the fact that they have got this double Hex on the lineup is going to be very nice for controlling the side of London Conspiracy. BKB almost finished as well on Mag, so this Darkseer is also going to be incredibly hard to take down. 31 armor on the guy.
I don't actually know how they're going to kill him anymore. Like, once BKB is done on Mag, it's so difficult for London Conspiracy to do anything. This Shadow Fiend hits for 200 damage, which for a 40-minute Shadow Fiend isn't really that threatening. And it's not to say that Kaiser hasn't played a good game. His build just had a very specific function. He wanted to have already won this game with this build. Like, the Blink Yules is fantastic for team fights and solo picks, and oh no, 224, let's see it.
Oh, indeed. That's
and their courier died. Oh, lord.
Oh, it didn't have anything on though, so I guess that's the good news.
Well, hopefully they didn't need to buy anything from the secret shop.
Yeah, because good luck trying to get themselves out there, because with this Observer Ward, Vega, they're going to be looking to jump onto anyone who does come out of the base. At the moment, Kaiser just looking for a bit of split push action here on this top lane. He's going to need to come back, because there's a bit of a problem here for the side of London Conspiracy in the mid lane. The side of Vega pushing down the Decrepify, allowing a lot of heavy nuke damage to come down onto Pasha, but of course he has still got the cheese and the BKB ready. And Vega, I think they're being content with sticking around here and maybe just going in for more. As Kaiser, he still hasn't been forced back here, still hanging around on this top lane.
Oh, Vega are backing actually. It's fine for them to back. I mean,
yes, yeah.
They're not getting any. Okay, so London Conspiracy aren't getting as much out of the map as Vega, as we said, and it's reflected in the golden experience graph. In the last 10 minutes, they've managed to accumulate a difference of around 8,000 gold plus and 10,000 experience. And that's with minimal team fighting. So they are just out-farming London Conspiracy by a wide margin. And this is another weakness of a lineup where you have a Pugna and a Chen, is that if you don't have your early mid-game go well for you, we saw how much momentum London Conspiracy had at one point. It felt almost as if Vega could not take an engagement. And then one Roshan fight, because they didn't know that Solo had a blink, totally changes the complexion of the game. Instead of just having it where your team 5-mans and Vega can't do anything, they get one core item up, they take another fight, they get 2 more core items up in BKBs, and then all of a sudden your 5-man does not feel that scary anymore.
And here we go, the London Conspiracy, they're going to look for another smoke here, see what they can do, but Maggie's got a completed BKB, it'll be yours, but can he get that BKB off? That is the question. Yes, he can. He's going to be alright for the time being with a cheeky vacuum there, and now Pasha coming in to try and help the cause here. Mag is still on full health, Pasha getting low, but he's got the cheese. He's going to be A-OK, surely now the backup's coming in for no one, with a massive sonic wave onto free, the dagger being thrown onto Spartan. He is going to be shallow graded up here by S224, no one's still trying to fight for this. They've already lost the Nyx Assassin on the side of London Conspiracy. Will they lose more? Vega coming in now with Solo, with the Echo Slam. They did manage to get out the Shadow Fiend, but London Conspiracy, they do lose 3 heroes here off the back of this, and Vega, they're going to be ready to push and ready to go. I mean, London Conspiracy just can't take a fight against Vega at this point.
The BKBs are too good against their lineup. Like, there's no physical damage coming out. The Weave wasn't even cast, I believe, by that fight, or if it was, it just didn't matter. So, not having the damage output to kill the BKB heroes of Vega is the real issue. He's going to try to go in here on Madara, not going to find anything big.
There's stun coming out onto Nine Pasha. A bit of the old sucky, but now with the Hex onto Kaiser. What? Trying to exchange some markers, will blink himself away. The React's getting low. They will be able to find the range right. Surely Skylark, he's got the Spike Carapace, which will catch out no one. So they have to follow up first, have to deal with this clock. They're looking for it, but no one will just be able to get himself blinked out. Single Slayer's in there with his BKB now. He's just suddenly turning up and saying, hey, I'm an Electric, I do a lot of damage in these fights. Now he's looking to look for Madara as well. Madara getting low. There's a Shadow Grave here from S224, but it looks like Vega, they should be able to finish this one off with the vacuum. There's going to be a double kill for Solo as well on this Earthshaker. There's going to be buybacks from Shadow Fiend as he's trying to get himself back and involved in the fight. Solo will be able to blink away. Again, Vega just causing a lot of issues for the side of LC and losing absolutely nothing in the middle of Hill.
That investment from London Conspiracy was so massive. They had 2 buybacks, I want to say. Yeah, the Nyx and the Shadow Fiend both bought out during that fight. Not reflected in the fight recap, though, because it took a little bit too long. Pugno with the standard 1 health survival, no big deal. But again, this is Roshan's for Vega, and there's nothing that London Conspiracy can do to contest this. Their heroes are dead. The Shadow Fiend, even though he has Requiem, he needed souls, so he couldn't just go in with a half-effective Requiem when they already don't do enough damage. Still a very, very tough situation for London Conspiracy. I'm not entirely sold they can win this game at this point. Like, London Conspiracy are like... If they just had one other person on their team that did some kind of right-click, I would say they had a chance. But they're putting way too much emphasis on the Shadow Fiend having enough farm to just be able to kill all of Vega, and it's not going to work like that.
Indeed, at this point. I mean, let's have a look. When was the last time the London Conspiracy actually got a kill? It was... What, over 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, 10, 11, 12 minutes, something like that.
And ever since that, it's just the lead is massive now. It's coming up to 30,000 for the side of Vega in terms of net worth, and XP, of course, it's a very similar story. This is, I mean, if London Conspiracy bring this one back, I'm going to be very surprised, Andy.
Well, we'll see if they can do it. Vega now going for the aggressive smoke. They have a second cheese at their disposal, and an Aegis once again. London Conspiracy just chilling in their base, seeing if they can take 1 high ground defense. I think Skylark. I'm not sure if Aghanims would have been better than Force Staff, because he would have had it by now, right? Oh no, is he going to get caught? Smoke breaks.
So it looks like here with the Sniper Fight being dropped down on him, he has got the Degripper Fight. Oh, the vacuum into the Sonic Wave. 2 heroes down on the side of London Conspiracy. They're 5 minutes more. Kaiser is trying to do what he can against this, but GG well played has already been called. They will find the 4th kill here. It's only a matter of surviving. Wow. I mean, what a way to finish off the game there with a little vacuum into Sonic Wave. And I gotta say, after that match, you can kind of tell what the London Conspiracy were going for with that draft.
It was a good draft.
It didn't work out at the end of the day.
I thought it was a very good draft, actually. I love the last pick, Pugna. I thought the 5-man potential from London Conspiracy was fantastic in the early game. The problem with these types of lineups, as was showcased against Vega here, is if you mess up one really bad engagement, the game becomes extremely difficult to be able